You're watching the Betting Expert Nigeria podcast with me, Kolade, the Duchess of Sports, and Cerebrone. Hello once again to our wonderful viewers out there. If you're stumbling across this video for the very first time, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever we post a video. And if you're already following us, you know what to do. Stay tuned for another action-packed episode. You already know the drill. Before we go into it proper, you know our watchword. Don't stake with money you can't afford to lose. And most importantly, always bet responsibly. And on that note, let's get into today's action. Once again, guys, it's good to be here to discuss footy. I'm pumped as usual. How are you guys doing?
Very fine. The Premier League title chase goes to the final day. Are you not happy that it has gotten to the final day?
Don't worry, you can still win the league.
Yeah.
West Ham will do it
for
you.
Miracles. I believe in miracles anyway. But for today,
There's always going to be that Aguero.
You can see the club I'm supporting or the country. I'm in Nigerian today, please.
Today.
I'm in Nigeria full time. So, but let's talk about that game. You know how it went. You know, people, I don't know, for some reason, people were expecting Spurs to do the result. To get a result, and not for wrong reason. Anyways, City have not scored at their stadium since when? I think 2019.
Since they moved over to the new
stadium. Since they moved over there, and in fact, Guardiola had lost against Spurs than any other side in the Premier League. So there was every reason to think that Spurs would get a result, but it was a different scenario. Haaland was just that guy once again. So what do you think about that game? Also, something very important is the fact that Spurs fans wanted their own team to lose. I can't wrap my head around it. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that it's the era that we're in where you just want to dunk on the next guy, and it has really affected the way that football is consumed. And you are watching a game and all you're thinking about is the banter after the game.
Afterwards, you don't
really care about. And it's because football has become more of a social thing more than anything, and people are so bothered about that. That's also why fans would start, going after their own players, because those players are making them lose arguments and things like that. So I wasn't surprised by that. But also, it's also what we say, the power of hate and all that. But I think that Spurs fans came in with the mentality that, you know what, if we win, we get, closer to Champions League. If we lose, nothing spoil. We're still getting something out of it. So I think it was when they considered that they started to celebrate, because at that point they knew that, you know what, we've lost this, might as well do what we're doing. But overall, it was a very, very nervy game. I think Manchester City played with a lot of nerves, and Spurs were very dangerous. But all in all, City got the job done onto the final day.
Yeah. So Son had a very big chance while the game was just 1-0 up. This is a chance where the usual Son we know will bury that chance, but I don't know. Ortega was just something else and he stopped that ball. Do you think that is one of the biggest moments of the season, Duchess?
I think that's one of the biggest moments, not just for this season, but for Stefan Ortega as a goalkeeper. If City goes on to win this title, they'll always remember him, because that save, having to increase his body size and making Son not have the opportunity to make decisions on his own, because a normal day, Son should have buried that ball, but that's what happens when it's a big game, when a lot of things matter. I thought that was going to be a goal. I was about to shout goal, like there was going to be a leveler, but after that moment, I realized that Pep did the magic. Magic being that I don't care how big you are as Ederson, but I'm fighting for the title and I need to take you off because I'm not sure you can give me the result. And that's what happened. City got to get that victory. The penalty, I think it wasn't necessary. Yes, it was, but this was something that could have been avoided. Yeah. But if you're talking about Tottenham fans celebrating, you just want thing that comes with rivalry. Yeah. Tottenham has not celebrated about title since 2008, and I don't think they want to see an Arsenal do that. So.
And away from Ortega and speaking about big moments, can you give us your biggest moment of the season so far? That moment that just had you surprised, also from a betting perspective.
Well, I think Chelsea not losing at all to Man City, home or away, was very, very interesting for me. The home leg, that was, I think, the second won, and in the running as well. I thought Man City were going to win 6-0. That's what I was telling everybody. Man City 6-0 or something, and Chelsea came and actually led for long periods in that game and almost grabbed 3 points. So I think that was very, very shocking for me.
Over to you, Duchess. What was that big moment of the season for you?
The big moment for me for the season has to be Arsenal not defeating Aston Villa when it matters the most. And that was one big mistake they did. They did that last season and this now. If they don't win the league this season, it's still the same mistakes. It's still the same schoolboy errors that they'll look back on and say, we should have done better. I think that's one of the biggest moments when you talk about this season. Because if they had gotten a win, City won't have had this kind of pride that they have now going to the final game of the season.
Fair point. Just on a quick note, my own big betting moment of the season was Arsenal versus United because I placed the bet on Arsenal to win, and United went ahead and they cancelled the goal, and then Arsenal scored in the time minute, Declan Rice, and then Gabriel Jesus. So it was just a roller coaster of
Eric Ten Hag has not forgiven.
He has not forgiven Arsenal fans for that game. He keeps on.
He always
keeps
reminds
on
us of
complaining.
how they scored before Arsenal and
Man
the
U
goal was
Man U
chopped off.
cost it, Sha. From preseason, they were saying we don't play friendly.
We don't play friendlies. Exactly.
Remember?
All right, let's move forward. Last time we spoke about the player of the season nominees, and this time it's about the managers giving the tactics for these players. So we have 5 nominations. We have Pep Guardiola, Mikel Arteta, Unai Emery, Jurgen Klopp, and Andoni Raiola. So out of all these 5 names, who do you think is the best candidate to win it? I'm sure you are going with the obvious answer.
What's the obvious answer?
Whoever will win the
So when
league.
you answer,
When you say obvious answer, you know everybody's mind is pointing one direction.
My manager is Unai Emery. But I just wanted to point out that of the 5 managers, 4 of them are Spanish and 3 are Basque.
So what are you trying? What are you trying to say now? So what are you trying to say?
England, show up. Come on, it's your country.
Shots
But
fired.
yeah,
Okay.
Unai Emery has done wonderfully taking Aston Villa to Champions League football because remember where he was, where they were when he came on, and I thought it was crazy for taking the job, leaving Villarreal to come take that job. But he has shown that he knew what he was doing, and excellent season so far. Fantastic. Manager of the
Fair point.
Yeah.
Over to you.
before that, let's remember that voting has ended on 13th of May. But I would want to stick with Pep Guardiola. For a manager that's won the title, did a treble, we expect the players to be fatigued and not running from that title. And this same season, they are likely to do a double as if they get to win the FA Cup. So I'll be sticking with Pep Guardiola. Yes, he has won it 4 times. If he wins it again, it's going to be the 5th time. Jurgen Klopp would have been the person I would look at, but his team crumbled. They just collapsed and couldn't get their bearing. Yes, they qualified for Champions League, but you expect Liverpool to always qualify for Champions League. The biggest man should have been Andoni Raiola of Bournemouth. Yes, they did not get relegated, but his first season with the side, one of their best finished, 10th position,
broken their points records.
So it's big, it's huge, but for a team that goes on a treble and is still firing, you just have to give them the credit. Liverpool could not even hold on. After that season, we saw them trying to get a quadruple. We narrowed down to treble, then just ended as a double. The next season was shambolic.
Yeah. All right, fair point for me, and I mean this with no bias. But when I say Mikel Arteta deserves it, I mean when you look at Arsenal and when you look at City, City winning the Premier. I say it with no bias, and I'll explain. City winning the Premier League is not a surprise. If they asked you before the start of the season, who would win the Premier League, you would go with City. I don't think anybody has pushed Guardiola. I think only Liverpool did once. Pushed Guardiola this far.
It was more than once.
I think once or twice, but
Twice,
this
but
twice.
the first time, like at
was
some
not
point,
really-
they crumbled the way
They
Arsenal crumbled.
Yeah. So this is the very first time that I'm seeing Guardiola sweating. You saw that Tottenham match. You saw that Ortega save. He literally
I've
fell on.
seen him
It
sweating.
fell.
But he's always
it fell-
dramatic.
It fell
Always
on the floor.
dramatic.
And when you look at Arteta does not have an Alan type of player. He has done all this with players like Havertz. Havertz has raised his game.
Don Havertz.
Come on. Havertz has raised his game. You have players like Declan Rice coming in doing a
100
wonderful
million
job.
Declan.
You have David Raya winning the Golden Glove. You have Arsenal keeping the most clean sheets.
Yeah.
Every
Arsenal
single
have been
player in
impressive.
Arsenal improved under Mikel Arteta this season. most wins for Arsenal again in their 130-year history. So for me, Guardiola might end up winning the league, and Arsenal might lose by 1 point.
Arteta has his
But
streak.
for me, Arteta is my man of the season in terms of managers. But at the end of the day, only one manager can win, and we'll just have to see who ends up with the award. Anybody that wins it out of this five will be justified. But I mean, I personally love to see Mikel Arteta winning, but football is a cruel sport at the end of the day. And with no further ado, that's all for our discussion. And when we are back, we'll be moving into the main discussion of the day, which is the betting tips for this weekend's action. All right, and we are back here discussing footy. Away from what the discussion is, back to serious business, which is the betting tips for all the weekend's action. And as usual, which is our culture here, I will let them start. And in no order at all, Cerebrone, you are starting with your best betting tips for the weekend.
Yeah, so hello. My last one, it went well. I mean, if you entered, it was just Girona versus Villarreal that surprised me. But of course, Girona missed 4 big chances, so bear with me. It's not my fault. Anyway, this weekend, final games of several leagues. And you know what that means? It means a lot of goals. So this is the weekend to go over as much as possible. My picks, I'm picking 5 games. I'm avoiding the Premier League altogether because there's still too much drama there. So I have Leverkusen versus Augsburg. I think we're going to have over 2.5 goals. I think Leverkusen will win anyway. But if you want to make it a bit spicier, you can go Leverkusen to win and over 2.5 goals. But I'm just saying there will be 3 goals scored in that game. Also, Frankfurt versus Leipzig. It's Bundesliga. They score a lot. We're going to see goals. Yeah. And it's final day so over 2.5 goals as well. Hoffenheim versus Bayern. Of course, there's nothing to play for Bayern, and they're just going to come out and enjoy themselves. And I think we're going to have over 2.5 goals. Then Torino versus Milan. Milan always play and open up, either score a lot of goals or concede goals. There are always goals in Milan's games. So I think that we're going to have over 1.5 goals, just to be safe. And last but not the least, Roma versus Genoa. Roma have a lot to play for here. It's a very, very important game. I think that we're going to have over 1.5 goals in that game. So Bayer Leverkusen versus Augsburg, 2.5. Frankfurt versus Leipzig, 2.5. Hoffenheim versus Bayern, 2.5. Torino Milan, 1.5 to be safe. And Roma Genoa, 1.5 to be safe. That gives us 4.64 odds. You can put a little 1,000 naira that you're not using and make some money. Yeah.
Over to you, Duchess.
Yes. Sorry about last time. Son just couldn't come to the rescue. But then for the weekend, I have just 6 games. So I will start with the German Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen versus Augsburg. Bayer Leverkusen versus Augsburg. I have a goal. I'll still be sticking with my goal. I feel these 2 teams will be able to score on the final day. I have Frankfurt versus RB Leipzig. Frankfurt will score. Leipzig will score. They will score. The next game has to be Union Berlin versus Freiburg. I'm also going to stick for a goal in this game. To the English Premier League, Brentford versus Newcastle. Brentford know how to score at home and away from home. Same as Newcastle. I even think Isak will be giving his final goal for the season in that match. Chelsea versus Bournemouth. Chelsea know how to score, but they don't know how to keep a clean sheet. Bournemouth themselves, they are not shy in front of goals, so I'll stick with a goal for these 2 teams. And the last but not the least, Liverpool versus Wolves. Liverpool can hurt you at any point, same as Wolverhampton Wanderers. So I feel these 2 teams will score. It's final day, so I just want to stick with goals. A lot of teams will want to score and give their fans a lot of things to cheer about. You might not win, but you just need to score and make them happy. So I'll be sticking with a goal for this weekend fixtures.
Okay, those were some very, very good selections, and I'll just be giving mine very quickly. Last time in my bet builder for Real Madrid Alaves, just one selection, stopped it from playing out correctly. I said Real Madrid win another 5.5 goals. Close one, they won 5-0. Yeah, and I said Alaves under 1.5 goals. They didn't score at all. Over 2.5 goals already played out in the 5-0. Then over 9.5 corners, they only played 5 corners. So that was the only blip on that one. But this time around, I'm avoiding the Premier League. Similar to what you said, there's too much drama, there's too much pride at stake. So I'm just trying to avoid that. And the final day is known for some weird ass results. So I'm sticking with Bundesliga, and I'm also going with Bayer Leverkusen and Augsburg. And just 3 selections for this game. Bayer Leverkusen to win and under 5.5 goals, meaning Leverkusen will win and there won't be 6 goals scored in that game. I'm also going with over 10.5 corners. Leverkusen are a very attacking side. They will attack all through that game. And I expect that game to see a large influx of corners. And Augsburg under 1.5 goals. They will also come out, playing freely, but I don't expect them to score 2 goals in that game. And those are my bet builder tips for Bayer Leverkusen Augsburg. 3.45 odds, and you can play with the Betano code showing on your screen and also the promo code showing right now on your screen. And my last bet builder tip is, said I was not going to the Premier League. Wow, I was joking. I went to the Premier League actually, and I'm going for a game where I'm showing on Betting Expert Nigeria. One of our rules is that bet without emotions, and this selection shows I'm betting without emotions. I'm picking Manchester City versus West Ham United, and my first selection is under 5.5 goals. There won't be 6 goals scored in that game. I don't care how many goals City need. There won't be 6 goals scored. Over 9.5 corners.
Ready for drama.
Over 9.5 corners in that game. Over 0.5 goals in the first half. And the one that pains me the most to say, So in quotes, congratulations to Manchester City ahead, and this combined tips play out to 3.30 odds, and you can also play with the Betano code showing on your screen and with the promo code Kolade showing on your screen as well. And that's all we have for you on today's episode of the Betting Expert Nigeria podcast. I had a fun time with Cerebrone and the Duchess of Sports, giving you football discussion and of course our betting tips ahead of the final day of the Premier League season mostly. Don't forget our golden rules here on the Betting Expert Nigeria podcast. Gamble responsibly and don't stake with money you can't afford to lose. If you're looking for a bookmaker to go with, stick with our trusted bookmaker Betano for all the best odds, juicy markets, and bet builder tips on the go. And also visit bettingexpert.com for more inside tips and expert analysis on the go. After the Premier League season ends, the Euros will also be right there in the summer, and of course on Betting Expert Nigeria we'll be here to cover all the action as well. Lastly, join us in the comment sections below telling us your thoughts on this episode, who should win the Manager of the Season award, and what was that big moment of the season for you. Until we come your way next time on the Betting Expert Nigeria episode, for myself, the Duchess of Sports, and Cerebrone, we say bye.
Bye.